Cruising on the southwest side of Guadeloupe. I had started on the north side, actually north of Guadeloupe, sailing out of Antigua, and sailed along the, looking at the map here, sailed into the cove and then all the way around, and spent a few days going into different coves here. And then this morning, sailing down along the west side and headed on down south, and got into a distracted, I should say, with life, and realized that I had missed the point and sailed a little too far south, and now I've turned up and I'm heading back towards the lighthouse. And so I could see the lighthouse ahead. Put on the binoculars. Whoop. Yeah. And we're heading out towards that lighthouse. And we'll probably moor somewhere along that beach and hold up for another night. But the sailing actually has been good because I made it good. One of the things I've been doing to make this game simulator, however you want to look at it, interesting, is to do real weather or real time. But I gotta say that there are times where I want to sail for fun, out in the sunshine, and sometimes you don't get that many breezes at night. So I'll go in and I'll change the time of day, but I've been strictly staying to the weather and dealing with it. And so far I've been dealing with the weather as is, sailing in the Caribbean islands with my 38-foot here cruising boat, and it's been fine. Whereas the Partridge, the old wooden boat, that's like a 50-footer. I forgot how big that thing is, but I've been keeping the weather and the time of day to cruise up in Nova Scotia. So that's been a lot of fun. But there are times. This morning when I got to sailing this boat, I went ahead, since it was morning anyway, to go ahead and sail it real time with real weather. But there was no wind. I had 2 miles or 2 knots of wind. You know, it is not going to get you anywhere. So you either hold up for, later in the morning or later in the afternoon when the wind picks up. So I went ahead and cheated, and I put the wind up at 12 knots. And as you can see, I'm cruising along at 7 knots now, over 7 knots. When I was going south, I put up the Jenniker, and that kept me going at 7 knots. And then when I realized I had sailed my way south of the island and now have turned up, I only have to go another couple miles here, nautical miles, to get where I want to go, and then I can hold up again. Well, yeah, so I had the Jenniker, and I sailed a little too far south and took that down, stored that away, and put up or I should say unfurled, the Genoa, which ended up being perfect. I wasn't sure if the Genoa would be too much for 12 knot winds. Usually when you get up above 15 knots or so, the Genoa is probably not what you want to use. Just use the jib, and you get better handling and you get good speed. But right now, with 12 knot winds, I'm getting excellent 7 knot speed on the on this. I think this is referred to as a broad reach. It's not quite close hauled. It's really nice. Broad reach is almost perfect, where you don't get pushed over too much. And well, I'm almost here as it is. Look, we're up to the lighthouse, just about. Make a tack and head towards the beach. But the weather and everything is actually what it is. The only thing I changed about it was the wind speed. I've been sailing for a little bit this morning, so the wind may have picked up. I should check real weather again, see how that does it. But I'm enjoying myself so much. We'll just keep it as it is. The ocean looks beautiful. I really enjoy this boat. We had talked about how I had changed up the colors from the default boat colors, which is just basically plain white, and I went ahead and made the whole blue. I kept the red stripe. I think the red stripe down on the waterline, I think that was red to begin with. The steering wheel is a black composite wheel. I changed that to be a shiny aluminum wheel. And then the deck, which was white, I went ahead and gave that a no skid surface, which my own personal sailboat, I have a 22-foot sailing boat that has a no skid that is, goes on top of the hull, just like this one does. And mine is powder blue. But I've noticed with my friend's boat, he had this color. I always thought the look of this was nicer than my powder blue look. So, and my windows in my sailboat, my cabin windows are clear. You can see right through them, and there's curtains on the inside. But most of the modern boats now do have the tinted window, so you get that dark tint. Another thing I changed color-wise. Am I passing that lighthouse? Look at that. I'm going right by it. Let's get back in the boat. The other thing I changed up was I gave the seams. I made the seams blue. And of the sails. The sails stayed white. The seams are blue. The Jenica's red. And let's head towards that beach over there, and then we'll call it a morning. I probably have it on auto. Whenever you want to take it off of auto when you're making a change, of course. That's a cool looking lighthouse. So let's head over to this beach. That's heading straight into the wind, so let's go a little further up the beach. Kind of into the wave here. Alright, right there. Go ahead and set my angle of wind to about 33. I should be able to do something with that. Rein in the Genoa. And let's rein in the... This gets to be frustrating if... Okay, I'll use the keyboard. The controller, the rocker arm, the pressing up and down, if it's kind of sensitive, and I don't blame the game for that, but Got it too sensitive. Whoop. That's the Genoa. I want... There we go. Get the main sheet tightened up. This is now a close haul because we're doing about 30 degrees to the wind, and so we're heading pretty close to the point where you can't head into the wind any closer. About 20 something. So we're pretty close hauled now. And what we can do now, you can always look at the diagram here to get the best wind, and you can see that the green arrow is not that good. So what we want to do is loosen up just slightly. There we go. And then whoop. Just because I'm looking at the Genoa doesn't mean I'm got the right sheet in my hand. Now, what's interesting about this is I've had, in real life sailing, I spend a lot of my younger days, and I think this is interesting because in real life sailing, normally I look at these telltales and, trim up the sail with the telltales, and a lot of times I'll winch the sail up against close haul as tight as I can. Get that sail tight up against the wind. And what I find, and I've learned quite a bit with using a simulator, is even though that trims up the sail with the telltales quite nicely, it doesn't give you the best speeds. And I imagine this is going to be true in real life because what I've learned is looking at the arrow, when you tighten, the more you tighten up that sail, that boom, the more horizontal instead of forward, you're going to get more beam, more hailing than you would if you loosen up just a bit. So I want to loosen that up just a bit. That's too much. And yeah, look at that. Now I'm up to about 5 knots. Oh, there we go, about 5 knots. So sometimes yanking the sail as tight as you can. I think in virtual sailing you don't feel the tension, so you don't realize. But in real life sailing, there's something within the, I guess, human nature that wants you to reel that sail in tight, as if you're gonna, wrestle the wind to your command. But actually, I think that what I'm finding is that you reel it in tight, get the telltales flying, and then ease up on it a little bit, so you don't have so much force pushing the boat over. Ease up enough, and then just slightly, and then that kind of gets the boat in a better sailing position, and you get better forward. And not only that, you get a better wing, I think, to give you the lift to push you forward. So it all works out, I think, to not get so aggressive with the sails, in a sense. But, you know, it's a beautiful morning. It's sailing nice. I do have that same instrument right down here that I can look at. I have the... oh, I forget. There's a setting where you can have everything look sharp, or you can have, you know, the focal, give a kind of a focal length appearance. So more of a natural. When you look in the distance, the sharper, and things up close. Unless you look directly at them, they'll focus in. But I forgot what you call that. But what a fun morning! What a fun sail! Beautiful sunshine day. So really pleased. I think what I want to do now is just head directly towards the beach if I can. Just get a nice look at it as it's sailing beautifully. Jump back in. Okay, before we gotta take it off of autopilot. Okay, let's cut into the wind now. Yeah, okay, head straight for that beach there. How's that look? That gives us a nice broad reach too. About, you know, it's not as close hauled. You notice one of the things about this simulator is until you make some adjustments, sometimes the visuals are out of whack. So my sheets going up to the boom are not connected. But let's go ahead and make our changes. Usually, if you tighten a sheet or loosen a sheet, it corrects itself. So that's what I'm doing. I think I can loosen that up some. And let's loosen up the Genoa. There we go. So yeah, I'm trying to get into practice of making trim to the sails, really using it without the assistance of these arrows. Because I've been learning a lot with the assistance of the arrows. But once in a while I want to understand by just working the sails without the assistance of the, you know, that wind indicator. I'm doing a nice 6 knots. You see, as we come to shore, blue water sailing is offshore, is as we come in is going to be turning turquoise. I think the simulation does a very nice job with not only the water representation but also the water color, the waves, even the splatter and spray off the bow. I always love the look of sailboats. They make pretty boats. Something about using the forces of nature, reining them into your command, to your liking, to your will. What I want to do, before I get too close to shore, let's take a look at. I may be hitting ground if I'm not careful. Yeah, we are getting pretty shallow here. Oh, I still got about 30 feet. Oh, we don't really have a, as far as I can tell, don't really have a problem with it getting too shallow. The land graphics are so much better than what they were in Sailaway 1 and probably 2 as well. But even still, I would say that let's turn off auto navigation. Before I let's flip this thing around, turn it into the wind. And drop the main sail. Furl the Genoa. There we have it. And we're more offshore here. Drop the anchor. And here we are. Now, I was going to say that the land graphics are, to me, so much better than they were. But they're not great. One of the things I wish, I mean, we're auto-generating land texture, but we're also auto-generating the buildings. And I really don't expect in the sailing simulator to put a lot of effort, especially for a one-guy development, to put a lot of effort into doing the proper buildings. So the buildings I'm happy with. I just wish the building textures weren't so low. I think it would maybe, I don't know, what it would take. My guess is, you use the auto generation and put the same buildings up, but do a better looking texture. Maybe have a few more textures and higher textures, so our buildings look just a touch nicer than they do. But I wouldn't expect, for anybody to be able to place the right building in the right spot for every place in planet Earth. That would be. But what could be nice if users could be able to develop their own landmarks, boat docks, that kind of thing. That would be neat. Take advantage of the community to do some of that stuff. So that's it, guys. I thought I'd sail over here and spend some time here. Find lunch. It is lunchtime in real life as well. I think in the life of the my sailboat here, Captain. And as far as land graphics go, I'm pretty happy with the textures on the land, although I think we're seeing the same graphic everywhere on the planet, and maybe down in the Caribbean we get a little bit more green for the graphics. But you know, I'm particularly happy. So love this boat, love the sailing, love cruising with you guys, and just kind of chatting as I do a lazy day sail. So until next time, enjoy your virtual world of sailing and your real life sailing. Bye for now.